Hello folks, hope you're all doing well. Another absolutely glorious day here at the allotment, just coming through the fence there. So today I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip out at least one of the buckets of first early potatoes. There's a slight issue with it, but I'll come to that in a minute. But just as we're coming in here into the plot, let me just spin around. Hold on. Oh, you cannot see, but I'm going to have to go in the shed. Hold on, bear with us. There you go. There's all the garlic from earlier on hanging up from the other day. It's absolutely, oh, smells amazing in here at the moment. It does. Right, let's head further down the plot. The two other things I want to show you just while I'm passing. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Spin it around just a second. Right, that's better, rather than me faffing on here, trying to show you things behind my head and whatnot. So this is pretty much where I first come into the plot, and I tell you what, it doesn't half make me smile coming in and seeing the size of these Kelsey onions. It's not showing up on the screen quite as well, but if I was round here, I say this is pretty much the first thing I see, and I go on absolutely great guns. I love seeing that as soon as I come in the plot. And then if I spin round over here, you can see my one ginormous sunflower, and bearing in mind I'm what, 5'10", and it's at least half a foot to a foot taller than me, so that one sunflower is going to be hopefully absolutely massive, and the other ones look great. You can see that's a multi-headed one there where the yellow flowers just coming on. The other ones, you're just starting to see the flowers come on, and the different varieties I haven't got them labelled up because I'm terrible at labelling things up. That's probably one of the giants. I grew American and Russian giants, so they're absolutely massive, that one, and hopefully it's going to keep going. Anyway, let's scoot down here. Hold on, nice and quick. Oh look, there's a tripod set up ready for filming. So just down in this bit here, you can see them here. Believe it or not, there's 4 separate buckets here of first earlies, and I think there might be a couple of second earlies in them as well. Now, 2 of the buckets were planted about 2 weeks later than the other 2, so it's a bit of a mystery as to which one's which. Now, I'm pretty sure that these 2 at this end, this one here and this one here, I'm sure they were the first ones planted up. And if I have a look, one of the earliest buckets I did had 2 different varieties in, and I can see the stalks coming up here. These ones, you can see the sort of darker stems on them, and these ones are just pure green, so I'm sure that's the mixed variety in there. So I'm going to take these, I'm going to go over there next to where the pallet compost bin is. Again, it's a bit messy, it's a bit weedy over there, but it's the best place to be doing this because I can snip the tops off, I can tip it out, I can get the junk straight in the compost bin, and then we can see what the potatoes are like. So I'll get set up over there and I'll be back with you in a jiffy, and we'll see what the early tatties are like. Right, so I decided in my infinite wisdom it would be easier to bring it down in the wheelbarrow. So underneath all this big pile of stuff is a wheelbarrow. So let's just get rid of some of this foliage. This is the first time I've done the tatties in buckets. I see a lot of people doing them and they have great success, and I think the one big benefit of them, the potatoes that come out of them always seem to be really clean. You know, there's no scab, there's no damage from pests or anything like that, and they always look absolutely great. But bearing in mind these are just first earlies in here, so I'm not expecting them to be massive. They should be decent though, you know, decent for sort of new potatoes kind of size. So these have probably been in about, I don't know, 14 weeks, something like that. So you can see they've got this stuff on the top here. This is called strulch. Two things that does. One is it's all sort of prickly and sharp, so it keeps the slugs and things away, and that'll just go in the compost. And the other thing is, because we're growing it in buckets, it helps to retain moisture. And just having a look in there, oh, there's one potato right in the top. I don't know if you can quite see that from the camera angle. And it helps retain moisture in the soil, because you know when you're growing in containers and that, you've got to water them so often, because it's not like in the ground where it'll keep hold of it. Anyway, without further ado, let's just see. Oh, there's a worm on the bottom there, look at that. Oh, that's good. Let's put that in with the beans down there. Let's just see if I can get these out. Oh, look at that, it's out in the water. Oh man. And what I can see, first of all, you know how we're saying the strulch keeps away the pests? we've got ants in here. That didn't go according to plan, so there's an ant's nest somewhere in here, and it's, oh man, it's crawling with them. You want to see it? I see all the little white eggs, maybe you'll see that, but I don't know. Normally ants move on when you disturb them. And over the far side there where we had the buckets, one of the beds, I think I said in one of the earlier videos, when I lifted up the stone and the cardboard that was sort of keeping the weed suppressed on the bed, that there was an ant's nest in there. And they moved on, so I can guess where they've moved on to. Luckily, the potatoes look absolutely grand, but the last thing I want to do is get bloomin' ants all over us. So let's just see how we can do this, and if there's a million ants going to appear, or if there's just a few of them sort of knocking about and perhaps they're nesting somewhere else. But there's an interesting surprise. You see, not everything on YouTube goes to plan, and it just shows you that I do these videos, I just film them, you know, warts and all, as and when things happen. But a bit of backstory about these pots. They're 30-litre pots. It's the bog standard ones you see loads of people using. You get them from all over the place. I think I bought mine off eBay. It's like 10 for 30 quid or something. I don't even think it's that much. Something like that. There was three seed potatoes I think I put in each one, and they're all first earlies. And there's some, you know, there's some nice looking new potatoes, and there's some tiny little tiddlers there. But some of the ones are a bit bigger, some of the ones that I'm pulling out. These are all red. I think the variety that I put in here, I think this was Red Duke of York, from what I remember. It's a while since I ordered them, and I say they've been, oh, there's a seed potato. They've been in, they've probably been in about 14 weeks, I think. Thereabouts. Let's see. Oh, here's all the main bits. Oh, here we go. Oh, look at these. Look at that. Wow. We've got like a red snowman sort of potato there. But you know what? It'll taste just the same as all the others. Well, that's a decent. Actually, I tell you what. For a first earlies, I couldn't remember whether it was time to pick them or not. There's a decent little hole here, and because I'm going to tip all this in the compost, well, most of it, all the leaves and all the roots and things like that go in the compost. I'll use the sort of soily compost material to probably on some of the beds over there. I'll chuck it on there just to give them a bit of good material on them, just improve the soil a bit. There's not going to be a great deal of nutrition left in here. There's not. So I don't know if you remember when I planted these out, I did a video for it, so I'll put a wee link up above if you want to go and see that. But there's a sort of layer of compost in the bottom, and then we put in some bloodfish and bone. I use loads of that. I use that for pretty much everything. You've all seen the sort of technique that I use all the time for growing stuff with the bloodfish and bone. And then another layer of compost, one seed potato, another layer of compost, another seed potato, another layer of compost, and then the final seed potato. And then that's it done. And we top it up to almost right up to the top. And then that sort of structure material that I showed you before, the sort of straw-like material, that all goes on the top there. And hopefully, well, it keeps the slugs and snails away, but apparently it doesn't keep the ants away. But there doesn't seem to be very many ants in here anyway. So even though I've got my hands in and about them, there's not a lot of ants knocking about. Last thing I want is something like this going in the compost bin, and I end up with potatoes growing in the compost. Not that would be the end of the world, right enough, but it's not something I want in particular. Right, let's have a good rummage around, make sure we've even got all the little tiddler ones. They'll get eaten. No, well, they still taste good. Right, some foliage that can go in the compost bin. Oh, another little one. Right, let's have a good rummage around. Oh, see, there's another one. Pays, and another one. It pays to have a good sort of sort through the compost. There's another one, and they're still going. There. And I guess the question is, if I do a second bucket today, which I'm tempted to do because they look pretty decent, is there going to be ants in the second bucket? And another one, last one. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll switch this around a little bit and I'll show you all the potatoes I've just got out of that bucket. So here's the first harvest out of that bucket there. Some of them you can see pretty decent size. That's not bad. You know, as always, there's a little tiddly ones, which is fine. But I mean, 3 sweet potatoes, that's all right. Not going to complain. I'll get a couple of meals out of them. You see, there's only 3 of us at home, so cook them up. New potatoes will be absolutely grand. Use some of those garlic scapes in with them, some butter, something like that. It'll be absolutely delicious. But I think what I'm going to do now, just out of curiosity, because I want to know if there's another ant's nest in the other potato bucket. So I'm going to bring the other potato bucket over. We'll get that tipped out and we'll see what's in that one as well. Right, so if you can see me behind all this foliage here, this is pretty much rinse and repeat time for these. You see, doing it here, so I can literally just lob all this straight into the compost, which saves me a job of firing about halfway over the plot if I'd done them up there like I did with the garlic or something like that. It just saves a little bit of time, you know. Time is precious. It is, when we've all got other things to be doing. But hey, let's see how this one goes. Let's see if there's a pot full of ants or a pot full of tatties. Well, good news is no ants. Bad news is this one looks very dry compared to the last one. There it does, but onwards and upwards. I'm not seeing any potatoes at the bottom here. There's some starting to appear. There is. Now this pot has 2 different varieties in. I say some of them's the red Duke of York again, and I'm struggling to remember what the other early variety was. It might have been Pentland Javelin. There we go. There's the first one. Was a worm. Always good to see worms in and about things. There it is, doing the job, spreading the nutrition about. There it is. Whoa, look at that. We'll not get much of a meal out of that. So I'm starting to wonder now, because I'm not seeing many potatoes, if I've perhaps picked one of the wrong buckets. And these were some of the ones that were planted a bit later. Then again, starting to get some decent ones now. Let's have a rummage. Oh, there we go. That's better. So I was starting to doubt myself, but they're all just hiding a bit further up. Look at them. Beauties, them. Let's have a look. Let's get the roots out and the bits of plants and the teeny weeny tiny little bits that we don't want going in the compost bin as well. Oh, nice. There's loads of these red ones coming now. Not so many of the sort of traditional kind of white ones, but the red ones, there's plenty of them. Right, let's get in and about this. Oh, there we go. There's more coming now. Right, let's have a look at the second lot. Look, so I say 2 different varieties here. So we've got some of the sort of more white coloured ones, and we've got some of the red Duke of Yorks as well. red juki yolks are quite small in this one compared to the other one, but the white ones are decent. There you are. Let's put them in. All the little tiddler ones as well. You say they'll all get eaten. Wash them down, give them a bit of a scrub, get them boiled. Delicious. Right, and I've just realised there from the camera angle, I need to shuffle back a little bit. There you go. So it's around about the same again from what we had before. So not too bad. I've got another 2 buckets back there. Again, I'm sure they're the 2, they were planted a couple of weeks after these ones, so again, so they're not all planted at the same time, they're not all ready at the same time. We just harvest bits and pieces as and when we need them. But I've got a decent haul of potatoes there. I'll go and get the other ones and we'll put them all together. Right. There you go, so you can see them all there. That's the ones from 2 buckets there, including our favourite red snowman potato. Great seeing the 2 different colours as well. I love it when things are all different colours like that. It looks absolutely amazing. So not too bad overall. You know, not as big, not as many as you get at the ground, but that's to be expected. The main crop is in the ground. These are just first earlies. I think the other ones over there might be second earlies and first earlies as well. And there's a couple of the sort of the ones that are kind of in between second earlies and mains, the ones that are in the ground, some of the ones over there. So we'll see how they turn out as well, but it'll be a good while before we're digging them out anyway. So if you like what we've been up to today, please give us a subscribe, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, anything you like. Do you do potatoes in buckets? Do you do them all on the ground? Do you do them in sacks? Do you grow them in weird and wonderful things? I see people doing them in tyres, in straw bales, and all sorts of different stuff, and potatoes grow in pretty much anything. It's pretty amazing. Anyway, that is me done for today, and we will see you on the next one. Bye for now, folks.